Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead.
Have any of you ever been on the scene of when they're shooting a porn film? Okay, this is not like it. This is not like it. You got guys out there trying to keep their heart on off camera. I can just see you. I mean, it's a bad visualization for me. I'm trying to. Anyway, one time in the last 5 years, has there been a comment from the peanut gallery, the people that look at the YouTube that I post? And I mean, 5 years ago, we had 1,000 people follow me on YouTube, maybe 2,000, which is nothing, which is less than nothing, really. Now we have 270,000, which is still, compared to the gurus, the millions. But only one time in 5 years has there been a comment on YouTube that was worth a shit. Of the thousands, one. So we're going to turn it off. Since I don't comment, I don't answer your questions. I'm not interested. I care less what the fuck you think. So we're just going to cut it off. And then I don't have to look at it. Well, I look at it just to see. But I know in 5 years, one comment, if I do this 5 years, more years, which is not likely, but I'll get one more comment. And to have to go through hundreds of these fucking things once in 5 years. That's not dissimilar to 8 people out of 50,000 that enter the Smell the Leather contest. Now, and the thing that still surprises me somewhat is how they don't know you guys from holes in the ground, right? They have rarely do they have anything nice to say. They only have hateful shit to say about you, not me, you. Which always just, now that I'll miss reading that part. That tickles my ass. I think that's funny, that they sit in judgment of you. You're sitting here, and it just tickles the shit out of me. There's certain things, and when we talk to our kids, Daddy, that's it, our daughter, Daddy, that's not the way it is anymore. This is the way it is. This is the thought process. And they throw back fact pattern in my face, which I'm a big fact pattern guy. And your fact patterns, it's very difficult to change fact patterns. It's like that eagle thing with a beak. It's very difficult. Everybody talks about change, but I've been doing this 27 years now, and you can count the people that really had a metamorphosis on 2 hands and 2 feet, 20 people out of 27 years. That really, in other words, turned from Jekyll to Hyde. Everybody understand the metaphor? From Dr. Jekyll to Hyde? I could probably write a book, which I'm not, write a book about the input or the lack of intelligent input. I'll rephrase that. And we have some intelligent people commenting on YouTube, but they get caught up with the rhetoric, I think. And then there's the odd guy that tries to defend me, which, and thank you, but I don't need any defending. It's quite amusing to me. Today, later in the day, we're going to, one of you, where's the guy from, look, you all look alike, too. I should quit. When you all look, and you obviously don't all look alike, right? But to me, and one of the things, and I mean this, I don't see color. I don't see black, white, shiny. I don't, all I see is apathy. And it has different kind of smiles or different kind of shades. But one of you kids, who's the lawyer that didn't practice law? Right in front of me, fuck. Yeah. His affirmations were really good. Very good. Today we're going to talk about affirmations after lunch at some length and how you put them together. And they're based on goals. You heard Thomas, I believe yesterday, say that, he's got 20 or 25 affirmations. And he says them in the morning when he gets up and he says his prayers. I say my affirmations at night. I used to say my affirmations twice a day, in the morning when you wake up, excuse me, and then before I went to bed. And then I'd say my prayers. Now I only say them in the night. I don't say them twice a day anymore. Some of the kids say them 4, 5, 6 times a day. Brian Rose says them on the way to work when he's taking the tube. He takes the tube to work because he wants everybody to lick his ass on the tube because he gets mobbed every day going to work because so many people know him in London. But we're going to spend some time on how you form them. But it got me thinking after you read me a couple of yours yesterday when we were doing our one-on-one that this camp, not the pavilion. I mean, that estate over there was a figment of my imagination. And 17 months later, I moved in. Elway, the 2008 Super Bowl champ, quarterback, I think he was the most valuable player, dreamt of winning a Super Bowl since he's 6, 7 years old. And he had a goal. But his goal was only to win the Super Bowl. It wasn't to win the Super Bowl the first time he entered the Super Bowl. He didn't win it until his third time. But you can't have a dream come true unless you have a dream, as they say in Evita. I've got a Hall of Famer again, Hispanic kid that went to high school, and their goal, their coach was to go to the state finals. And that's a big deal in America. And they went to the state finals, and they lost 2-1. It wasn't to win the state finals. It's to go to the state finals. The next year, they went to the state finals. I think they won 4-3 because it was to win. I've had Olympians here. And when they say they're Olympian, that means they didn't win anything. Everybody understand that? You went to the Olympics, which is a great honor. You won a few, right? But he had a goal to go to the Olympics since he's 10 years old. He went to the Olympics, and he didn't win anything. Now he tells people not to just want to go to the Olympics. He speaks on the tour that you need to win anything. And it's a process. It's part of the QLA process that's overlooked because it's repetitive, and you don't really know if it's taking effect until it happens. And if you're on the slow boat to China, which some of you are, not just this group, every group's got people that are slow boat to China. Okay. Some are in a speedboat like Simon the Bell, 400 pounds of tons of fun. He got everything done in just 3 weeks. And then 2.5 years later, he accomplished a big deal. 2.5 years later. So, and I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, manner, or form you should aspire. I want you to aspire to the big deal, but not the 2.5 year part. But that's linked in your mind. You know, so far, the only example I've given you for a $5 billion deal took the poor fucker 2.5 years. I can't, unless I lied or I doctored the tape, there's no way. So you know that in your subconscious. So when it takes you 1 month, 3 months, 7 months, 18 months, 22 months, your subconscious is telling you that's okay. Unless you have a goal and an affirmation that says, I'm not going to be like a big tub of shit that took 2.5 years. Now, I wouldn't say Simon, because you watch this, Simon, I know. He's slim now, he's 300 pounds. I mean, he's a shadow of his former self. But it's really important, so I started thinking about it. And so I was rearranging slides again last night, again, based on your homework from yesterday, to make sure that we have the most impactful last 2 days. Last night, you saw, I believe, Steve Ballmer, right? I don't know Steve. I know he's a shock and awe kind of leader, manager. That I know from people that know him and that have been in the room with him. He's a big guy. And so what are some of the takeaways from Steve's comments when he was speaking at Oxford? Yes, sir.
He didn't know anything about this business.
Could you speak? Could you say that louder?
He didn't know anything.
He didn't know anything. He didn't know. Can you say it without the Nazi accent? No. He did not know anything. Go, now continue.
He didn't know anything about this business, and even if he didn't know anything, he just quit and worked for Microsoft.
He's certainly not German, is he? No way, Jose. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really the only takeaway. If you're going to take one thing away from listening to that talk, that's it. He didn't know fuck all. I know some of you, by looking at your eyes, you still don't believe it. How many don't believe that was really Steve Ballmer? We've had people on YouTube say it wasn't. When we talk about it, because they don't see it, they think I got him from Central Casting and I paid him $500 to get... Anyway. What else about Steve? Yes, sir.
What gets measured gets accomplished. He stressed measurement about 10 times in like 20 minutes.
Why did he say it about 10 times? Because it's fucking important. What gets measured gets accomplished. And when now the demons and Netflix have gone to outcome management. And the poor little employees don't even understand what's happened to them. Oh, the little Germans are running around, oh, fuck. Like when Hitler came into Austria, they were cheering and yelling, outcome management, oh. That means what gets measured gets accomplished, and that means your pay, your bonuses, and all the other things are going to be measured against what you accomplished. For the first time in the history of either one of those companies. And Netflix has been a really success story. Huge success, especially during Corona, because a lot more people watch Netflix. Who else about Steve? Yes, sir, in the back.
You need to sell something all your life to be able to sell.
Steve is obviously a salesman. He came up sales. And he's energetic. He's enthusiastic. You have no trouble hearing him, do you? He would need, if he was sitting in the back row, he would need a mic to talk to me. Okay? And you know, he's got, I don't know, $10, $20 billion, or I don't know what he's got. He bought the Los Angeles Clippers for $2 billion. And just like Sam Zell fucked me up when I was buying mobile homes, Ballmer fucked up the price of sports teams by paying over the top. And he made Michael Jordan a billionaire instantly, because Michael Jordan owns whatever that basketball team is. But sales, it's not often that a guy or a gal become the head of a big corporation that they came up through sales or marketing. That's not the norm. That's not the norm. In fact, that's abnormal. Normally they come up a different route. Something else about Steve. Yes, sir, in the back.
He talks about the fact that if you're successful enough, dark years will come and you are going to attract litigation, and it's normal in business.
Litigation is a business tool. I wrote I guess what would be called an ebook now, a number of years ago, with the 28 rules or 26 rules of litigation. And that's come back to bite me in the ass. Many times I've been in court, and they bring it up, and they show the jury and the judge, and this Mr. Peña, is this familiar to you? And could you bring it a little closer? I can't really tell. You know, you wrote it, and I said, yeah, I did write it. But I talk about litigation being a business tool. Nothing more than a business tool. It's just another arrow in the quiver of things that you have to be able to manage. And if you're not willing to litigate, now at your size, the first deal or two you're going to do, it's not likely that you'll have to litigate. But as you get bigger and bigger, you will litigate, or at least threaten to litigate. And it is. And what are you told? Lawyers are bad. That's true. They are bad. But whether the world would exist without lawyers, I'm not sure. I don't really care. But the point is that you've been told, you know, don't go to court, don't do this, don't sue, God forbid, don't be sued. And that's what you normally raise. And of course, who's telling you that? Your parents that don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Working stiffs, or blue collar, as they used to call people that just had regular jobs. Ditch diggers. My dad used to say, you want to be a goddamn ditch digger? And that was like, you want to be the devil or something, you know. Then I think to myself, well, we got ditch diggers in the family. I'm thinking to myself, my dad yelling at me, you know, my cousin over here works construction. My cousin over here, you know, lays bricks. So what you're tantamount to the ditch digging. But the bottom line is that my parents, in that case, wanted something more from me. What else about Steve? Yes, sir. Here.
Extremely successful and superb companies are two-trick ponies, meaning that you have to adapt to what's coming. If you stay on one trade or one service, you will fade out.
I'm satisfied if you guys are all just one-trick ponies. Hit it, a home run one time. That doesn't mean your first deal. I mean a big chunk of money one time. Some of my mentees are 2-3 trick ponies, arguably maybe less than 5 or 4 or 5 trick ponies. In other words, they've reinvented themselves. Remember, you start, build up, fragmented industries, cash out. You do it again and again and again. I mentioned yesterday, some of the guys stay in, most of the guys don't stay because they don't return to the seat of the crime, as I said laughingly, and they go on to from healthcare to tech to this or that. And it's infinitely easier the second, third, and fourth time because there's a lot of time that you save. But the part of the legacies of the Steve Jobs, of the Bill Gates, of the Zuckerberg, will be measured against how many tricks, how many derivations did they make? Did they stay, in the same platform, etc.? But I'll be satisfied with one trick pony for all of you. Okay, from my lips to Allah's ears, one trick pony is fine with me. And but when you develop a product at Colgate Palmolive or somewhere, you normally have many derivations of that product ready to go on the market. Right now at Mercedes, I'm sure they're working on cars for 2050 in the design. And there, 6 or 10 or 12 models beyond, some of which are electric, etc., some of which are hybrids and some of which are electric. And they're even working on cars, that hover, like hovercrafts, that don't have wheels on the ground. One of the kids had an idea about tires. But when we don't have tires in 50 years anymore, what's going to happen to this business? What's that going to do to the rubber industry? If that comes to fruition, like they say it might. What's going to happen? What else about Steve? Yes, sir.
Recruiting, which involves hiring and firing, is more important than strategy in a business.
Well, for QLA, structure follows strategy. Okay? But in the beginning, you don't have a strategy. Some of you can't help yourself. You're going to put together a strategy. Some of you will put together business plans, even though I tell you they're not needed, because you can't help yourself. That's fine, as long as you don't share them with anybody. But then you can't help yourself, because now you've written this big fucking document, you got to share it with people. And who you're going to try to share it with is your board. And all they're going to do is be confused. My only task, is to get you across the goal line once. Once. Not necessarily in a straight line, which is the shortest possible route, but once. And I know from doing this 27 years with you, and doing it for myself 23 years before I started that with you, that one idea, laser beam focus, to get the ball across the goal line, or get the ball in the net. And that's about all a human being can focus on at a time. That coupled with you leading from the front, your dream team, is a full-time job. And you've seen, we'll use Rebecca, the Viking bitch, pretty fucking effective. Although she shared with you 3 of the 4 errors that she made. 2 of the 3 errors she made because she didn't follow procedure, the procedures that you have written down. And she admits that. And then when she went back to fix it. I want you to not have to go back and fix shit. I want you to just follow the guidelines, because when you go back and fix it, it takes you time. And remember how bad she felt when she fired this guy, and she came up with all kinds of excuses. Now, any one of the 3 or 4 things that guy did would have been plenty for me to fire him almost instantly. Okay? But once you get in the hole, the quagmire, it's tough to pull yourself out. And she finally did, with the help of her big-time chairman and the assistance of one other person that she had confidence in. What else about Steve? Yes, sir.
2 or 3 things, really. The first one was, he said, smart people love being negative. So you stay away from that. The second, which is linked to what we're going to talk about today, was you have to be very clear on what success looks like, and also be very clear on your outcomes. Because if you're not clear, you're not going to achieve it.
If you don't frame what you want from your people correctly, and that doesn't mean you can't come back and reframe it and change, but they want a clear objective. And the most important thing, and you've heard the other people say, is getting your first deal done. Everybody that you're going to recruit on the board, Dream Team, everybody that will represent you from the accounting side and the legal side will understand a deal. That's why you want transaction people. That's not why you don't want academicians. They understand a deal. They understand a deal better than you because they've been involved. And that's why I tell you, make sure they're transaction professionals, that they've done deals, and not 10 or 20 deals. The board should have done hundreds of deals cumulatively. Hundreds. If they haven't done hundreds of deals, they're the wrong guys and gals. They're the wrong guys and gals. But you're correct. What else about Steve? Yes, sir, in the back.
He puts a huge emphasis on involving people emotionally to get the most out of them.
In the beginning, you're not going to have to involve. I don't want you to spend a lot of time worrying about involving them emotionally. They're trained. They know how to get a deal done. I told you already, if you have to tell your CEO, if you're not the CEO, your CFO or your chairman what to do, you got the wrong guy or the wrong gal. They know what to do. And I used to say, whatever it takes, legal, moral, and ethical, I want the deal done. And I used to give time frames when I was young. I know that's now not the way to do it. Now it's as fast as humanly possible. Okay? I want the deal done and go out and get it done. And you're there to lead them from the front. And your chairman should be there to keep you on the playing field, to keep you on the pitch. And you go wander off the pitch, off the playing field. There's a famous scene in Forrest Gump where Forrest starts running the wrong way on the field, if you remember the movie. And they had to turn him around. They're going like this. And then the coach, Bear Bryant, who's that supposed to be Bear Bryant, who I knew when he was still alive. That's crazy son of a bitch running the wrong goddamn way. And some of you, the March guys, some of you have done stuff that you may never recover from. You may never recover. Because it's a hard pill to swallow. Well, fuck. If I listen to Dan, and so far everybody's told you to listen to me, like I'm saying what Muhammad's saying, right? I got to get rid of everybody. And you won't do that. You should, but that's a hard pill to swallow. The hardest pill to swallow for the older guys in this room, not just this room, is not just because for 30 years I did it wrong, but I've really wasted those 20 or 30 years. And we're all running out of runway. I'm the oldest in this room by a lot. And but if you think for the older guys, if you think you're running out of runway, guess what? You are running out of runway. I don't think I'm running out of runway, even though chronologically I'm running out of runway. But I don't feel any different than I did 20 years ago. And since I got my knees replaced and my hip replaced, which were extremely arthritic, I mean, I feel actually better than I did when I was 50. What else about Steve? Another comment about Mr. Ballmer. Yes, you're in the back, again.
He puts a huge emphasis, like Musk, on budgeting time and being very strict and not letting people waste your time.
Now, you read, I gave you the word for fear, that article to read, right? Okay. Other than you're all afraid, some more, some less, that's a given, okay? Me too. The only difference is I've been afraid of a lot of things in my life, but I still pull the trigger. And I know the more, whether it's from a fight, the more I try to analyze with a guy 6'8", he weighs 250 pounds, I don't see 1 ounce of fat on him, and I go through all these permutations. By that time, he's already ripped my head off. So I learned young that. So in business, it's not any different for me. Any of the deals I can look at, given the information as you're going to learn how to gather it, 10 seconds if I'm really slow. If I'm trying to be German, 10 seconds. And I know whether it's a go or no-go. It's a go or no-go. And I literally, in a year, view hundreds of deals. Hundreds. And rarely, maybe 1 out of 100 deals, will I ask our financial people to do some homework. Or I'll ask Kat, give me some research on this asshole. I want to know. And so she and or Alwyn or one of the others will do the research. Because I know time's money. And especially now. Now, I had a nightmare that COVID only lasted 3 months last night. I woke up in a sweat. The corona only lasted 3 months. So fuck. But I know that's not going to happen. I don't want it to last 30 years, but I want a bunch of you, at least seminars this year to be able to go out and take advantage and do deals. So what are the takeaways from that article? So you don't want to comment about being afraid. So everybody, what takeaway? You push the button.
I'll be honest, I forgot to read the article last night.
Okay. Who read the article? Okay. Obo.
I mean, mentally it makes sense, but it's the emotional aspect.
Of course it is. Intellectually, QLA is easy peasy. You read the 7 steps, and 4 of the steps have sub-steps. It's easy. I mean, it's, as Simon Bell said, it's not intellectually challenging. I think, now there's 2 theories here. Some people think if I had made it more intellectually challenging, I would have gotten a better crop of attendees or mentees. I know that's not true. I would have got less and not necessarily a better crop. If I just measured emotional intelligence, which is the phrase that's used loosely for what we're talking about. Remember, 2 bank accounts we have in life, emotional bank account and a financial bank account. Most of you in this room have always worried, and your parents worried, and you've been told about money, have 6 months reserved, so if you lose your job and you have to save for retirement, blah, 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 that's financial bank account. But the real challenge is your emotional bank account. The emotional bank account. When you run out of money and you're dead in the water, what do? And if I had measured emotional intelligence as a measurement for entree into the seminar, I won't say that I don't really know, but I know we've had significantly less people. Because you think, not you, but in general, you think you're better off emotionally than you are. You know you're a pleaser, but you don't know how much being a pleaser has affected your life because nobody's ever brought it to your attention. Because, and Ty and Tony and Brian and all these guys, they know, but they're reluctant to tell you because it takes away from their sales model. And that's why when I give all the QLA info away free, and I do these YouTubes, which I don't need the YouTubes, you know. I could easily exist without having this filmed. But my selfish reason is I want QLA to live beyond my lifetime. And so they'll be, hopefully, watching it on YouTube. But, I mean, we're all afraid. It's not being afraid. It's making the decision to take action anyway. You know, Thomas yesterday commented, I was in the room, and it was the big deal, one of the biggest of the 4 deals he just did. And he said that my stomach, I was sick to my stomach, and I was nauseous, and he had emailed me to talk to me, but I had already calls, and I will not change appointments, you know. And so by the time I got back to him, he had already had the meeting. But I told him before, I said, you know, just push hard, do the takeaway close. Takeaway meaning, get up, fuck you. If you don't like the deal, I'm gone. And to look at him, he doesn't look like Steve Ballmer, does he? He looks like a kid, slightly older than Josh Kim. But he made it work, and of course now he's making it work on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis. But 6 million EBITDA in 13 months is pretty good. It's not the best I've ever had, but it's in the top 10%. When you think of it, 6 million in EBITDA, and you've been working all your lives, and you've got, if any, EBITDA, you know, closer to 0 than 6 million, closer to 0. But he was sick to his stomach. And Heavenly Father wasn't helping that nauseous feeling he had. So I teased the God botherers, Bible thumpers. Well, didn't God slow down your pulse rate? Didn't God make the sickness in your stomach go away? Now, some of the really, really zealot thumpers say yes. I felt a calm come over me, like the Spirit of God Himself came through my body. Well, that's a little much for me. One, I don't believe that myself, so I'm certainly not trying to sell it to anybody, but there are people, and maybe you know some people that are deeply religious, and that must be a cool feeling to just be able to, and I tease when they go, you know, when can pay my MasterCard bill, I'll start doing it. And as I told Brian Rose 6 years ago, I never saw Zen pay American Express bill ever. And almost all my mentees meditate. Almost all. I don't. I haven't meditated a microsecond in my life. But almost all. So now I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says. But more importantly, I don't care what it says. If you meditate and it works for you, I'll be with you. But I wouldn't start meditating now just because you hear these successful mentees meditate. Because if you haven't found meditation by the time you're 25, 24, or in your 50s, forget about it, as they say in Brooklyn. Okay, anything else about which, yes? Okay.
Could you run through the emotional and the financial bank accounts again one more time, please?
Everybody in this room has heard from either their parents or a relative, words to the effect that you need to have a cash reserve, you need to have this, and what if you lose your job? And they would rather see you, let's say when you get out of school, they would rather see you take a secure job that you're going to be able to keep. When I was getting out of school, everybody was looking for recession-proof employment. I finally graduated from university. It's 1971, recession, okay? And nobody could get a job. So the professors in the university and people that were just out of school and couldn't get a job were saying you want a recession proof because it's financial. You want to be able to pay your bills. Nobody ever said, Dan, you are who the average of the 5 people you're around emotionally. I mean, nobody told me that your self-worth and self-esteem is built the first 7 or 8 years of life. They still don't teach that to this day. When I was at the University of Pennsylvania, I went through the curricula. No place. When I was at the Naval Academy, the only difference at the Naval Academy is that they teach leadership, where they should, okay? But as far as all the other things, they don't teach them. One of the things that, and I'm answering your question, one of the things I ask when I go to universities or when I go to big corporations, which I still get invited to occasionally, is how many classes or how many webinars or podcasts, etc., have you had in leadership here? No hands go up. How many have you had in selling? Occasionally the marketing guys have taken some sales shit. But the younger guys, just in school, no hands go up. How many have you had in buying a business? No hands go up. So the 3 most important things of running a business, buying, selling, and leading, nobody teaches. Now, IBM and Siemens have leadership courses. After you're there 5 years, Siemens sends you away for 3 weeks or 6 weeks for a leadership course. Okay? After 5 years. I may have changed, so I may be giving bad information now. Maybe it's after, 5 weeks. Nobody stresses the emotional side of you. Because if you stress the emotional side, you're going to talk about fear. You're going to talk about the dark side. I'm called the Darth Vader of professional coaching. Not because I used to choke him, which I did used to choke him. It's because I've learned the sooner you know about your emotional problems, the sooner you realize success leaves clues and your parents weren't good role models vis-a-vis building a Steve Jobs or making a Steve Jobs or a Zuckerberg or Bill Gates. As soon as you realize that and you see the difference between you and them, the sooner you can adapt. You're never going to change 100%. If you were raised 25 years in a certain way, you're not going to all of a sudden become Attila the Hun. And one of the things I say at the close, I'm going to say now, is I'm not training you to go out and be me. You'll fail. You'll just fail because you're not me. Okay? I do say if you're 1% of me, you'll get rich. If you're 5% of me, you'll be a billionaire. I can prove that. Now, the billionaires I could introduce you to, you may say, well, he's really 15% of Peña, not 5%. Well, maybe he's 15% now because he's got $22 billion. But when he had fuck all nothing, he was 5% of me, and that's how he got the billion. So I want you to develop your own personality. And that's why when we talk about the templates, there's 6 templates for everything. Find the one that you feel that your personality meshes with. Find the words. Yesterday when I gave you that script, I could tell by the way you read it, some of you, those aren't words that you're going to feel comfortable using. Even though I tell you, I want you to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. A couple of you in the room can use those words, can use the shock and awe. Some of you in this room would not say shit if it was in your mouth. For those of you that don't, English isn't a first language. Does everybody understand when I say you wouldn't say shit if it was in your mouth? You wouldn't. That's not going to change. Although Thomas now says fuck, Bible thumper. Josh Kim, who's a Bible thumper, now says fuck. And almost every single one of the stars, current stars, use more bad words than they did when I met them. Not because I influenced them, because they see how it works and how fucking effective it is. I just want you to be as effective as you can be. And if saying fuck helps that, then use the word fuck. Using bad words, four-letter words, doesn't make you Dan Peña. But every religion, race, and creed that I've ever come up with, all the high-performance people swear. Oh. They may not swear like a drunken sailor like me, but they swear. Steve Ballmer said, if I remember correctly, he says, I realized I've been nervous before this talk because I know it's going to be around forever. Because of YouTube, right? He didn't say one bad word, as I recall. When I spoke at Oxford, I said fuck twice. And then I realized turned to the moderator. I said, I'm not. He said, well, you already said it, Mr. Peña. And so then about an hour later, and I said it again. But that's as good a behavior. The best behavior I've been on is if you go back and look at the commencement speech I said in 1991 at CSUN. I didn't say one bad word. I didn't say one bad word. And people say, well, what happened? You know. But your emotional bank account is the only bank account that counts. If you have a strong enough emotional bank account, see, your emotional bank accounts for the most part are overdrawn already. You tried a lot of shit and it didn't work. And now for the March people, they tried some shit and, even though I told you not to, and it didn't work. So you've already drawn down on your emotional bank account. And the way you draw down on your emotional bank account, I'll back up. Your emotional bank accounts, you have not built up any overdraft. You have no lines of credit in your emotional bank account. You get credits or you build up your overdraft and line of credit in your emotional bank account through successes in life. I asked you the question, what's the highest performance thing that you did in your life? Some of you just draw a line. I guess that means none, right? I guess. I don't know for sure. 0. One of you said nothing to talk about. Some of you put your advanced degrees. Some of you, I think one of you said being here. One of you said being picked to be in some special program. But if that's all you've done, you know your emotional bank account is built up through an educational degree. You know that 8 million people have that same degree. You know you have turned that not into one nickel. So even though you put it down, you realize it doesn't really mean that much. How many chartered accountants are there in Britain?
Too many.
That's the exact answer I would give. Too many. You have never, on purpose, tried to build up your emotional bank account. Through affirmation, goals and affirmations, you will start to build up because your subconscious doesn't know you're full of shit. I see myself, well, that's not a good one. There's one of these posters shows me in the famous picture where I'm wearing a blazer, some riding pants and boots, and I've got a riding crop, and I'm standing there looking. That's what I saw myself as, being a country gentleman before I ever moved here. I saw myself. So when that came to fruition, it was like deja vu. I'd already been there. But I've directly or indirectly been working on my emotional bank account. That's why I went to expensive restaurants I couldn't afford. I wanted to see how the rich people acted. That's why I used to go to the airport and watch them get off Pan Am, fly from Paris or London to Los Angeles to see the rich people get off the planes. This is when I was still in university. That's why I used to go look at $1, $2, and $3 million houses in the early 70s, and that's a lot of fucking house. On open house day, I used to go into Beverly Hills and places with my girlfriend at the time. That's why I used to go to restaurants I couldn't afford. And I was directly and indirectly in that case, building up my emotional bank account. And now, this is the life, I've led this life 35, 40 years now. So me going to the Carnegie Club for my birthday, even though I'd never been there, although I almost bought Skibo Castle right after I bought this castle, it was like deja vu. And if you look on the social media, I'm standing next to Andrew Carnegie's bust, the top of the staircase, or I'm standing next to his painting that's downstairs. And it's kind of full circle. This is not my retirement speech, kids. But anyway, it's kind of full circle because now I'm there, the guy that I modeled for almost all my life. Emotional bank account is significantly more important than your financial bank account. If your emotional bank accounts were full, you wouldn't be here. You're full. And one of the questions the kids often ask me in regard to emotional bank account, are you happy, Mr. Peña? If you don't think money can buy happiness, you don't know where to shop. Am I happy? I'm happier than anybody in this fucking room or anybody that's ever come through this fucking room. The real question is, if you're so happy, why are you still doing this? That's the real question. And the real question is, up until this happened, I wanted this. And now I'm going to put as many numbers as I can, while I still can, to make sure there is nobody that ever passes me. I answer your question? Okay. Okay, YouTube.